Hello, welcome to Algorithms. My name is Saurabh, and in this presentation, we will discuss about a simple approach to migrate application portfolios to cloud as a part of data center exit. Now, most of the large enterprises are looking for ways to modernize and migrate application uh, portfolios to cloud, and they will need to adopt a methodical approach. And the approach should provide their teams a way to build a pipeline of applications suitable for infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service types of cloud enablement. Now, the approach should also provide an ability to decide on an appropriate cloud deployment model. Now, if you look at the different cloud providers, they have their own approach. What I have done is I have looked at all the approaches and compressed it. So now we have just four steps in the process, and each step explain what are the different areas that needs to be covered in each step, and what will be the key outputs for each step. And that's where it makes it more relevant from the CXO audience perspective, as they have clear understanding of what exactly will be the output in each stage, and then it makes it easier for the team as well. So let's have a look at it. So this provide four elements. One is strategy, second is analysis and planning, design and development, and the migration and deployment. Now, this framework can also be associated with the KPIs that I discussed in my previous presentations, so that you have a framework to for cloud migration, and then you have KPIs, you map it, and then you are ready to go. From a strategy perspective, it's very clear that from defining a cloud migration strategy that involves performing a cloud fit analysis of applications that you have to move to the cloud. It's very simple. So what you need to do is just a simple cloud fit analysis, initial cloud fit analysis, and you have to look at the inventory, conduct executive workshops, data analysis, and then reporting. So as I said, there are various steps involved in performing a cloud fit analysis, from data collection to reporting. And uh, you have to understand the pain and gain associated with moving the applications to the cloud. So this analysis also indicates that migration of some applications may involve more effort, and some requires more re-engineering, or some requires or some may be more effective from the gain perspective. So in such situations, your enterprise will need to make sure there is a long-term strategic gain of migrating applications to the cloud. So when you put together different buckets of pain and gain, you will get to know what exactly is the future state. Now, I'll also talk about the six different areas, which is refactoring, rehosting, re-architecting, rebuilding, and so on and so forth as a part of deployment and migration. I have also covered that in my first presentation, that you can look at to get a better understanding. From the analysis and planning perspective, which is the second pillar in the migration framework, is more of a high level design of the migration. It involves these activities, which where you need to plan the migration. You have to do the effort estimation, schedule estimation, and the cost benefit analysis. From the key output perspective, this will give you a detailed cost benefit analysis by application. You will have a migration plan and a scheduling plan. Plus, you have to enforce the existing criteria from the business requirements perspective and the constraints. Plus, you have to apply the application architecture details if there are any from the enterprise architecture perspective. When you analyze the applications, it has to be classified into three categories. One is migration, second is transformation, third is rebuild. I'm i'm not talking about five or six different areas of migrations like rehost, re-architecture, rebuild. I just want to make sure that we put it in simple buckets so that it is easier for everyone to understand. So we have just three buckets: one is migration, one is transformation, one is rebuild. In the migration, where you need to make minor changes in order to host application in the cloud. In the transformation, you need to change business logic to take the advantage of cloud environment. And then in the rebuild bucket, you have to rewrite the application. So this gives you an estimate of time needed for the migration as well. And as I said, the key activities or the key outputs of this activity include a cost benefit analysis of the migration, detailed migration plan, and the schedule associated with it. Now, from the design, development, and integration perspective, after the applications are analyzed and classified, the next step is to perform required design and development changes to the application, including integration changes to ensure the applications run smoothly in the cloud. The design, development, and integration activities for each classification will be different. So, the key output of this step includes some of the architectural artifacts, design documents, project plan, test plan, and deployment plan. Then the last pillar is migration and deployment. So this step of migration framework involves the migration and deployment of applications that have been identified for cloud migration, and the analysis performed as a part of migration framework will indicate the appropriate deployment model for the application. For instance, whether it has to go to private cloud, it has to go to public cloud, or it also indicates the application affinity towards the type. For instance, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service, to take advantage of cloud services that are already provided by the vendor. So now, as you see that we looked at the different pillars of the four-step approach, and it is pretty much self-explanatory, and how your models will be deployed in different buckets once you have done the analysis, and then move to the design, and then move to the migration and deployment. And at the same time, as I said, if you map KPIs and ROIs as a part of cost benefit analysis, so that you can build a business case or business justification for a group of applications. For instance, for candidates of migration, for transformation and rebuild, you may need a one single case or different business case. That really depends upon the use case, but in certain cases it is good to have a different business case for each of the classifications, because the amount of effort, the cost, and the time will be different, and that also helps explain what you can do from the prioritization perspective, or what are the areas that can be done in parallel. It does not mean that the business case cannot be done in one business case. I mean to say that it's not that one business case, it cannot include all three elements. Yes, it is very much possible, but it really depends, because some organizations, they have chargeback methods where the cost is coming from different business units. So it all depends, means it varies from one scenario to another. But our goal was to explain this four-step method so that everyone is clear, and it is a very simple approach when it comes to migration. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please drop in the comments box, and we will get back to you. Thank you very much.